Apparently I'm recording. Let's just try this. So, hi, my name's Katie, and I wasn't exactly sure how to start my YouTube channel, so I thought I would just go for the Booktube Newbie Tag by Reads and Daydreams. And yeah, I guess I'll just get started. It was actually a lot harder to set this up than I was expecting. I had no idea that there were so many different ways to film. I don't have anything to hold my camera up, so I'm trying it on my laptop, but my laptop didn't even have a filming feature, so wish me luck. The first question is, why did you start this channel? Well, I'm trying to start it to get more engaged with the booktube community, and to motivate myself to kind of congeal my thoughts about books. I read a lot of books, but then I don't necessarily spend a lot of time thinking about them or articulating my thoughts about them afterward. So I want to be motivated to do that, and also just to learn some basic video editing skills, this will be my first try. Number 2, what fun and unique things can you bring to BookTube? Okay. Technically, I am a middle-class, white, cisgender, female, and writing about the millennial sort of generation, so I kind of just fit right in with the demographic. One of the biggest things, I guess, is that my book taste tends to run nonfiction, especially nonfiction that focuses on queer issues, and nonfiction that focuses on languages and linguistics, which is a particular area of interest for me. And I have a little bit of a soft spot for collecting zines from all over the world. So whenever I travel, I try to collect a children's book or a zine or magazines, anything that's kind of locally printed. Typically I'll go more for zines because if they're not printed in English, then at least I can appreciate the imagery and the art. So I usually don't go for published works that are not in English. Number 3, what are you more excited? This is harder than it looks. What are you most excited about for this new channel? Mostly just connecting with other booktubers and maybe some buddy reads, because I've been wanting to kind of get into that. Just getting more involved with the community. Number 4, why do you love to read? It's always been something that I've loved to do, just to learn about different things. I came from, like many of us, from a really small town. I didn't really fit in there. I was always a lot nerdier than everyone else, and while I had some friends, I didn't quite click with them, or we just had a lot of different interests. So I love to read, and just, it also gives me, you get that sort of feeling of accomplishment of reading something, or I do. And I also love getting cozy and reading in the winter because it's mostly winter here, most of the time. Number 5, what book or book series got you into reading? I wouldn't say the specific book series got me into reading, but when I was younger, when my sister and I were really little, my mom would read to us every night before bed. We had a thing at school where we would record every book that we read, and then it was like a little line, the book, the date, who read it, and then what you thought. And so we got these cards, probably about this big, with about 25 lines apiece, and in 1 year we filled 25 cards. So we won some prize for reading the most books, and so it's just always something that we did as a family. And then when I got old enough when I was a little bit older, I had a teacher who would read like short middle grade books to us every day before starting actual school. And so one of the books that stood out to me specifically was Island of the Blue Dolphins. And since then I've reread it a few times, not in the last couple of years, but I remember that story being, I don't know, so moving. I mean, it's probably problematic if I go back and read it now, but at the time it really got me into reading. And then when I was reading on my own for the first time, I picked up Goosebumps and Babysitters, and I also had a penchant for exceptionally old Guinness Books of World Records. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Can we do a buddy read? That would be my first question, but I'll wait. And then number 7, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Probably the hardest is shyness. The idea of filming myself and then going back and watching it and editing it and then deciding that it's good enough to put on online is probably a big barrier. This is a bit of just a test. Shyness also in the sense that, you know, I work during the day and then I come home in the evening and my partner's here, and that's when I have time to film, or I will have time to film. And while she is wonderful, I am incredibly shy, and I don't always like having other people or anyone, even though I trust her, around when I'm doing something that I don't know, that I'm worried I might be not very good at. So that'll be a big thing, is either finding the time or getting over being worried of someone watching me. And then lighting is probably going to be an issue because my apartment is dark, but this will be a good chance for me to practice editing. Bye.